Have you ever looked in the mirror thinking your haircut was perfectly fine, only to realize it's been secretly aging you for years? Here's the real kicker. It's not just the cut, it's the length, the color, even the part. But don't worry, because this video isn't just about what not to do. By the end, you'll know exactly how to fix it, with simple salon tweaks or even DIY tricks that turn back the clock without needing a full makeover. So let's get into it before it's too late. First, let's start with the flat, one-length cut. One of the fastest ways to age your face is by sticking with a blunt, one-length haircut. It may seem sleek and simple, but once you're past 50, this kind of style can drag everything downward. Without layers or shape, it frames the face in a very hard, heavy way. There's no softness, no movement, just a line that pulls attention down to the jaw and neck, which aren't always areas we want to highlight. Hair without layers can also make thinning more noticeable. A straight, sharp cut puts all the focus on the hair's outline, rather than creating a fuller, more lifted look. This can exaggerate any natural sagging in the cheeks or jawline and make you appear more tired than you really feel. To fix this, you don't need a dramatic change. Ask for long, soft layers that add texture and bounce. Even a few light face framing pieces can help lift your features and soften your overall look. If you're trimming your hair yourself, be gentle with the layers, nothing choppy or extreme. The goal is to add dimension and movement, not create a whole new shape. These small touches can instantly freshen your appearance and take years off your look. Now that we've loosened up those ends, let's talk about something even subtler, like having the same hair part for years. If you've been wearing your hair parted the same way for the past 10 or 20 years, you're not alone. But believe it or not, this small habit can add years to your appearance. As we age, our hairline changes. We lose volume in certain areas, and our facial structure shifts slightly. Keeping the same part, especially a strict middle or deep side part, can make the face look more hollow or stretched out. A strong middle part with flat roots can actually make the face look longer and more tired. On the other hand, a deep side part that once felt glamorous might now be drawing attention to one side of the face more than you want. These old habits can unintentionally highlight the parts of our face that have lost volume or elasticity over time. A soft change in your part is sometimes all it takes to refresh your whole look. Flipping your part to the opposite side or going slightly off-center can add subtle volume right at the roots, giving a more lifted and fuller appearance. It's an easy adjustment, but it makes a real difference, especially when you're not ready for a haircut but want to feel updated. Now that we've addressed your roots, let's move down to having long hair that's too heavy. Long hair is beautiful, but there comes a point where it can start to drag your look down. Hair that's too long, especially without any layers or shape, tends to look weighed down and lifeless. Instead of adding elegance, it can make your face look longer and emphasize areas you might prefer to soften, like your jawline or neckline. Aging hair also tends to get finer, so long lengths can start looking stringy or thin at the ends. And when that happens, it doesn't just age your hair, it affects your whole facial silhouette. It pulls the eye downward and can create a tired, droopy effect. You don't have to chop it all off to make it work. A shoulder-length cut or a long bob, especially with soft layers, can completely change how your hair moves and how your face looks. It adds fullness, bounce, and structure, which lifts your features instead of pulling them down. If you're not ready to part with your length, adding curtain bangs or a soft fringe can create shape and highlight your cheekbones without making a major change. You'll still feel like yourself, just fresher and lighter. Now that we've trimmed the weight, let's talk about harsh hair color because it matters more than you might think. One of the most overlooked things that can make you look older is hanging onto a hair color that no longer suits your skin. Jet black, ashy blondes, or even rich dark browns can be too harsh as our skin tone softens and loses some natural contrast. These colors can drain your complexion, make you look washed out, and emphasize fine lines or under eyeshadows. Even natural greys can go dull or yellowed without the right care, making hair look lifeless and tired. Flat, single tone color, whether it's dyed or natural, can also lack the depth and brightness that keeps hair looking healthy and youthful. The key is to work with your natural tone, not against it. Go for shades that add warmth, softness, and depth. For brunettes, caramel or honey lowlights can add richness. For blondes, go creamy or buttery instead of icy. And if you're embracing grey, consider a silver gloss to keep the tone cool and bright rather than flat or brassy. Adding a lighter piece around the face, often called a money piece, can brighten your whole look without changing your overall colour. It reflects light and softens your features naturally. Now that your colour is on point, let's look at how volume can either help or hurt your style. Volume can make a huge difference in how youthful and fresh your hairstyle looks. But when it's done in the wrong way or placed in the wrong spots, it can have the opposite effect. It's easy to think that bigger is better, especially if you grew up styling your hair in the 70s or 80s. But today, too much height or teasing at the crown can end up looking stiff, dated, or overdone. Instead of helping your features, it ends up pulling attention to the top of your head and making the rest of your face appear longer or even more tired. Styles that rely on a lot of teasing, hairspray, or heavy curling irons tend to build volume in all the wrong places. High poofs at the crown can actually make the face look droopy by comparison. They also make your overall hairstyle feel less modern and more costume-like. The kind of volume that truly flatters women over 50 is the kind that creates soft movement and fullness in the right areas, not the kind that looks glued in place. The best place to create volume is around the cheeks and jawline, not above the forehead. This brings softness and balance to your face. Try using a round brush to gently curl just the ends under or outward, depending on your haircut. Velcro rollers are also great for giving your hair body without too much heat. You can pop them in while doing your makeup, and by the time you take them out, your hair will have just the right amount of lift. The goal is to have a little bit of lift where it counts, not a wall of hair that doesn't budge. Volume should feel like part of your natural texture, not something that's been sculpted and frozen in place. Once you shift your focus to creating volume, where it actually lifts and flatters your features, your whole hairstyle starts to look more modern and more alive. Now that you've got the right shape and volume, we also need to talk about not updating your hair often enough. As we age, our facial features naturally soften, our skin tone shifts, and our hair texture often changes too. What looked flattering in your 30s or 40s might not have the same effect now. A style that once lifted your face may start to drag it down. That bold color that once added drama might now be too harsh against your skin. Even the same old part or bangs can begin to feel dated over time. It doesn't mean those choices were wrong. It just means your hair needs to evolve with you. Updating your look doesn't mean doing something drastic or trendy. You don't have to cut it all off or dye it pink. A small shift can make a big difference. Adding soft layers, brightening your color just a touch, or even changing the way you blow dry your bangs can refresh your entire appearance. These changes help keep your style intentional and polished rather than stuck or accidental. If regular salon visits aren't in your budget right now, that's completely fine. There are simple ways to keep your hair looking current without spending a lot. A clear gloss treatment from the drugstore can add shine and refresh dull tones. A root lift spray or even a new parting technique can bring back volume and shape in minutes. The main idea here is to stay connected to who you are right now, not who you were 10 or 15 years ago. Let your hair reflect that growth. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to feel like you've made a choice instead of letting time and habit take over. Your hairstyle should make you feel confident, lifted, and alive. Even the smallest update can help you get there. And now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these hairstyle mistakes have you made before? Share your experience in the comments. And if you enjoyed watching this video, you will definitely love this next one.